everyone and welcome back to my channel. I thought today I would do for you a Sydney retro and vintage shopping haul. Earlier this month I went to Sydney for work and also I participated in the Everything Elvis Miss Memphis Vintage Pinup competition. I love doing a little bit of vintage shopping whenever I go travelling because it's always fun to find a souvenir which is vintage so I can wear it all the time. And it's sort of like a nice memento to have, and I always like to try and find something that was actually made in the area. I wasn't very successful this time, but I did find some really beautiful vintage gems. I've written a blog about where the best places I think in Sydney are to go vintage and retro shopping, so I'll put a link down below. Oh, look at me becoming a YouTuber. Links down below. So let's start with a small item. One of my favourite brands is Kitten d'Amour. And if you ever go to Sydney, you have to go to the Queen Victoria building, and I think they're located on the ground level or one level underneath. And the store is absolutely beautiful. The ladies working there are absolute dolls. I love them. But also, this is a really strange thing. The store smells amazing. There's a certain Kitten d'Amour perfume or air freshener, and I really enjoy it. So that's always a nice thing to look forward to. Also, whenever you purchase from them, all the clothes smell like that too for a little while until you wash them. So besides this gorgeous polka dot dress, which is from the My Giddy Aunt collection, I also purchased this little playsuit. I love the buttons. The pattern reminded me of old sewing patterns, and I just thought it was really cute. Living in Australia right now, it's very, very warm, so I thought this would be adorable for frolicking around or getting errands done. So this is outfit number 2 that I purchased along with this one. I also purchased the matching scarf because I love me a good head scarf. It's a great way of sort of hiding any hair imperfections that you had that day, or if you just struggled in general to get your hair to sit right. One of my favourite stores to visit is Faster Pussycat, and I believe it is in the Newtown district, from what I remember. So I found 2 beautiful gems from there. This is a 1950s little sundress. The fabric is so soft. Absolutely I want to just keep stroking it in a very consensual way, of course. It's got gorgeous little buttons on the front, a metal zipper in the back. It fit like a dream, but all I need is a vintage slip. I don't actually own a vintage slip, so there's quite a few dresses that I can't actually wear in my wardrobe, but I'm hoping to find one soon, so if anyone sees one, please let me know. Next up is this little beauty. This is actually what I am now calling my Mrs. Maisel dress. It reminded me of in one of the scenes when she was going to work and she had this gorgeous collared dress with this really big bow down the front. She needs a bit of steam, but I've already worn her and I absolutely adored her. So really beautiful fit, gorgeous easy neutral colours to play around with. Also on the back, I loved this clasp over the zipper. I thought that was really sweet. The skirt is really, really flattering and it's everything Mrs. Maisel would love, so it had me. So these 2 were from Faster Pussycat and I highly recommend you going if you're ever in Sydney. The owner is an absolute darling. I love her so, so much. She is so eccentric and was one of the kindest and most patient store owners I've ever met. The last items I have were purchased from a warehouse, which is right near the airport. I've forgotten the name at the moment, so I'll write it down in the description box below. But we had about 2 hours before we had to go to the airport, and I spotted it from the car window. And it was the opposite of the IKEA ad. It was literally me screaming, "Stop the car, I've seen heaven, I have to go in." So we stopped and, oh my gosh, just absolutely fell in love. I wanted everything in the store. If you haven't gone to one of these vintage warehouses, it's basically a huge shed and it's got little divisions where people and store owners can set up little shops. There's no store owners in every single booth, so you just sort of plot along, see what you like. If you like anything, you call an assistant over and each item has the store number tag. So it's really, really amazing to find all sorts of things. They had everything from glassware, dishware, vintage patterns, vintage fabric, furniture, accessories, clothing, toys, you name it, they had it. I was talked out of buying a strawberry ice bucket. It was an ice bucket in the shape of a strawberry, and a little bit upset that I got told not to buy it because now I'm just got buyer's regret. So these are the items that I found. I'll start with this little hat here. So this is a gorgeous 1950s hat. She needs a little bit of a clean, but that's okay. And she is from the Calvert model brand. I love the velvet ribbon at the back, the beautiful, beautiful fabric at the front. She does need a really good bit of a pick-me-up, which I will hopefully give her. Maybe I'll film it. I am planning to do a how to fix your vintage sort of series. And I'll take along some of my favourite vintage items that really need a fix-up, and just sort of show you how to fix and repair items and see maybe what's too far gone. So item number 1 was this little beauty. Next up in the store, I found this gorgeous little swimsuit. I love pink, and blue is my other favourite colour, so when I saw this, it was almost like a grapefruit colour. I hope that's coming up on camera. It's got lovely little ruching on the back and the stripes. It fit like an absolute dream. I do need to bring it in a little bit. I think the elastic's gone in a few places, so it was a tiny little bit looser, but torso-wise, being a slightly taller girl, this was absolutely perfect. I must have been having a pink day when I went to the store. I was wearing a pink dress when I went shopping, and everything I purchased from this warehouse was pink. So the store assistant got very excited by that and pulled out this little beauty. I love me a good blouse. I don't actually have a lot of vintage blouses. I seem to steer more towards dresses. I just find them a lot easier and quicker, especially when I'm going to work in the morning. But I loved the beautiful lace detailing here, the cute little buttons, and it fit me absolutely beautifully. And now come the 2 dresses that I purchased. This was an absolute darling of a dress. The collar is what actually sold me, because I love pink, I love roses, and I love sparkles. So this had 2 out of the 3. It is a pink with white polka dots dress. The collar is absolutely adorable. I love the lace on it and a little bit of bling bling embellishments, because we all love a little bit of bling when we're pin-ups. It has a side zipper, and the dress fit absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to get a slip and wear it. It sit so beautifully. And this is the second dress purchase. Of course it's pink, because as I said, I was having a pink day. I loved this dress. It was so well fitted. The bodice was absolutely beautiful. I love the scalloping effect on this, and the little bow with bling on the front. So this was a really, really amazing find. So this is the last purchase, clothing-wise, that I bought from the store. I can't wait to wear this. Lastly, I bought a bit of a strange purchase. I also bought this because I was transporting something rather fragile, and I needed to make sure it didn't break on the plane. I also didn't have any carry-on at this stage because I packed really light, and being a pin-up model, I'm always on the lookout for really interesting props, especially anything to do with Australia and Australian history, and I found this little gem. This is a 1960s David Jones fashion box, or hat box. I'm guessing it is a hat box because of its shape, but one thing I loved was this lovely little label here, because I think it was on the 7th of November 1963, a Miss Jocelyn Ford was staying at Wentworth Hotel in the city, and this is what her order arrived in. I love having little pieces of history. I think it also says Ford City, which is really exciting. So I'm guessing back in those days, David Jones perhaps delivered to certain clientele, and as soon as I saw this label, I knew this box was coming home with me. It is not a practical purchase when traveling, but this was my carry-on, and they allowed it onto the plane, which was great. But also one thing I love about this label again was here it says the store of the Christmas spirit. So obviously she was doing a little bit of Christmas shopping, and I'm hoping the hat she bought was absolutely fabulous, as I'm sure it would be, and that she loved it for several years. And that is it for my Sydney haul. If you'd like to, please give me a subscribe and a like. Maybe write a comment, what was your favourite item? Do you like to go vintage shopping when you travel? Maybe what was your favourite vintage purchase whilst travelling of all time? I'd love to know. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye!